Hey, I'm John Greaves III, the founder of Garage Gym Life. Today, I have got a treat for you because I'm talking to the man himself, Shaun Crandall. Shaun owns Crandall Fitness, which is a home gym equipment company. We're going to be talking all about the products that he has, what separates him from the other brands out there that are providing home gym equipment for us, and get into the nitty-gritty about some of his products. Well, I almost forgot to tell you about the shirt of the day. Shirt of the day in honor of Shaun Crandall, a dude who knows all about that grind. It's called Do the Work, and it's all about the effort that it takes to achieve your goals, both in and out of your home gym. Like all of our shirts, it is designed to be comfortable enough to wear during your toughest workout, while at the same time looking good enough for you to wear it out on the town. You can grab the shirt of the day by going to the links that are below this video. And as always, thank you for your support, because every time you buy merch, you are making it possible for us to do what we do. Now, let's go back to the interview. All right, Shaun, thanks for joining us, my man.
Thank you for having me on.
So let's get started. Now, Shaun has not seen any of these questions. He's the adventurous type, all right? So he said I could ask him anything. He's like, man, I'm good. I ain't scared of nothing. Man, I work the Border Patrol. You can't do anything. So, okay, let's go, Shaun. All right, first question. First thing is, I'm going to give you I want to give you some kudos here. The public schools in Crandall, Texas are above average, and most of the residents own their own homes. Last year, the property tax was only like 8%. Sales tax was 1.9. How much of that success do you attribute it to the town being named after you? And do you require that all the homes in Crandall, like, do they need to be orange, since you have like some fixation on that color?
Yeah, definitely orange or black, and definitely some kind of stipend.
Like when you go in there,
that into my company account.
Do people have to bow, or is it cool if they just kind of give you the motorcycle wave? Is that fine?
It's better if they just have a parade.
Ah, excellent, excellent.
Yeah, just drive down through town and they just come outside and they throw candy at me. I don't even.
Oh wow, there you go. Lord Crandall, master of all he surveys. Nice. All right. All right. So seriously, the first question is, I called you a home gym equipment company, but would you consider yourself a home gym equipment company or a fitness equipment company? Because there's an important distinction between the two.
Oh yeah. No, we're definitely a fitness equipment company, because like we say home gym equipment just so people know we do, instead of thinking, usually people think we're a gym. So like on some of our signs, you'll see like Crandall Fitness home gym equipment, but that's specifically so people know we have equipment and aren't a gym. But I think home gym equipment has a negative connotation. It's going to be cheap, crappy, like Amazon or Walmart or something.
Yeah.
So I just make everything commercial grade. That way, by default, I don't have to worry about it being home gym grade, because I'd rather get all positive reviews, and maybe you're going to have it forever, and then you could pass it down and pass it down. Maybe you need to slap some paint on or something, but I don't want you to get it and then, you have your NFL lineman brother-in-law or somebody, whoever show up and they break something. Like, hell, that's why we try to break all of our stuff. That way I know before it goes out that you're not going to.
Nice. Yeah, there's that video of you jumping up and down on the benches late. It was like maybe 1-2 o'clock in the morning. I was up editing stuff and I saw it just kind of come across my feed. And I was like, is this drug related? What's going on here? Why is this man jumping on the benches? But you were demonstrating how sturdy your benches are.
Yeah, we do that with bars too. We have a video on our Instagram and YouTube where I put as many 45s like a handle, and then I pick it up at the forklift, and then I bounce it. And the guy who actually owns the warehouse that we're in, he's a professor at New Mexico State University, and he's an engineer. And he's like, the amount of force on that bar with that much weight is about 2,500 pounds. And as you can see, it stops and it levels back out. We actually still have that bar in our showroom. And he's like, yeah, no human will ever actually break that. And actually, when I filmed that video, a customer had walked in, because our store was in our warehouse because we were just starting and didn't have crap. And he came in and watched me do that. And then after that, he was like, okay, I'll take the bar and the weight set. He's like, I'm sold.
So so that actually leads to a question that I have never seen anybody else address. So here we go. We're going to be pioneers.
Yeah.
Whenever, let's say you look at the rating for a power rack, for example, and let's say it says it's rated for 1,000 pounds. My impression was, so a power rack is, yes, it's supposed to support the weight when you have it on there. And, especially if you're doing something like overload work, but it's also a safety mechanism so that if you're benching and the bar drops out of your hand, it can handle that impact without folding on you, right?
Yeah.
So, well, here's the thing. When you drop something, you have to deal with terminal velocity as well as friction and air resistance and all that, and then the impact, right? So if it falls, Newton's second law of motion, as that bar is falling, it's going to increase in weight. So isn't the tolerance of a rack, if you want to be safe, at least 2 times what you could actually safely lift just in case it drops?
Yeah. And I think, I mean, like one of our power racks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've dropped, I mean, I put straps on ours. It wasn't very much, maybe like 450 pounds, but I stood up straight and I'm 6'5", like 250.
Yeah.
So like, I just let it roll off my back. Nobody's going to stand up from a squat and drop it off their back, right? It's going to be like, you get deep, or maybe you make it halfway up and you're like, oh crap, and you got to bail. Yeah. Nobody just walks out like, oh, I don't like this, and just throws it off their back. So I do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I would say, like, honestly, like with our benches and our bars, all their weight ratings, the realistic value is way higher than what you put as I think people like we do, we put a more conservative rating on it for liability, knowing that like our bench, like I put 1,200 pounds on the bench, but I've stacked over 1,200 pounds on a bench. You know what I mean? I've put like 1,500 pounds on a 1,000-pound bench, just because the only thing that's going to break, the steel's never going to break. You can like drive a truck onto one of our benches. It's 3/8-inch thick steel. Like it's not, I mean, it's thicker than a trailer's made of. So the only thing that might break would be the pads. And let's say the pad would be, if you have the pad and then you're laying this way doing some kind of hip thrust or some gimmicky thing on the bench and you're rocking your body back and forth, you might tear 2 bolts out of the pad or something and it might come up. Or you have a chintzy pad, like I stomped on mine, but some people have chintzy pads. If it breaks off the corner, that might break. But you're not going to, I mean, one of ours, I mean, I've broken GP benches. One of ours, I mean, I'm like I said, I'm 250 pounds. I'm jumping up in the air and down on the pad. And on the video, I specifically kicked the crap out of the pad and on the edges of the pad and where the bolts are to try to kick it away from the bolts, just to show you that we build them pretty tough. Because, I mean, realistically, nobody's going to go home and try to destroy their own stuff. So I'll destroy it for you. That way you can see that if you're just laying on it doing bench press, it's going to last you forever.
I mean, to me, that was important because I've seen videos. So like Gluck, for example, just posted a video of a cheap power rack that he got from Amazon. And I'll even link to it here. You guys will see the little card going above my head. And anyway, in the video, he drops the weight that is rated for and the whole rack folded. So that's what I'm saying is like people don't think about the fact that although the weight it's rated for whatever, when you drop something, I'm thinking typically in the bench press, because when I worked in a public gym, people would drop, they have a false grip and the bar drops out of their hands all the time because they're what happens is your wrist will like you start out like this, right? And then as you're pushing somewhere in there, you do like that. And then once you do like that, the bar just falls down and nobody's gonna catch that. And so that's the thing that always just kind of like worries me, like about any kind of racks. But to your point, your racks are made out of 11 gauge steel. So they are going to be here well after we're both gone. People say, well, why do you have to overbuild it? You know, it's just one person using it. I'm like, yeah, exactly. It's one person. Well, to me, you might be the only one at the house. So if I'm in a public gym and something happens, they got theoretically somebody on staff who can come help me. But what if I'm at the house and it's just me and my little girl? She's got to help me call 911, you know, like increase her deadlift max on the spot. I mean, come on.
You know what speaking of power racks, ours are square. I know, like, I don't know why, like we make square ones and Rogue makes square ones. And you might know, and I don't know. No one else makes square racks. Like ours are, and they're wide. I'm like, I get inside of a rep or somebody else's power rack. It might be only 3 inches, but my wingspan's pretty big. And so my elbows need those 3 inches because I will hit the crap out of some safeties on the way down. Even if you're you're benching correctly with like a 45-degree angle on your elbows. My wingspan's big enough, my elbows stick out far enough, like either if you're tucking like you're doing closer grip bench all the time. So a square rack, and I see this a lot on like guys' videos, they'll have like a Titan or even a rep or something that's real shallow, like 32 inches deep. And you see them rack one of those things because nobody ever bolts them, right? You put in there, bolt to the ground, nobody ever bolts them.
Nah.
And you see people hit the back with like a heavy squat and you see that rack tip and you're like, every time they do it, you're like, oh my God, like either put some weights on the front or like, I'm just always like, one of these days that rack's just going to go. It's going to go through your wall or whatever. So ours are square. So pretty much, unless you take 1,000 pounds off your back and throw it into the very top corner of the rack, that sucker's, it might slide. Yeah, it's not going anywhere and you like a wide, like to me, it's like a car, right? A wide, big base, as wide as you can get to fit inside the sleeves on the bar is better to me. We're going to make them as big as we can So the biggest guy can use them, because every smaller guy can use any rack, right? We do a lot of high schools and colleges and Fort Bliss and like other home and Air Force Base. We do a lot of Air Force bases and military and law enforcement and fire department stuff.
Yeah.
You got a lot of big dudes. And also you're in the Marines, federal employees don't really care about taking care of stuff too much. So you got to make sure that you make that stuff bulletproof.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So like I have a bunch of our bumper plates at like the Border Patrol CrossFit gym. They've had that stuff almost 2 years. And like 2 years and at like a federal facility is like
it's like in dog years.
Yeah. So they've had that stuff and it's worked out great for them. So that's like my testing of like, if a federal agent can't break it, or an Army guy can't break it, or an Air Force guy can't break it, you're not going to break it in your house, because you're going to use it 1/100th of the time. And you're also going to care about it because you paid for it and not the federal government.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're talking about the width of your rack. So upright to outside upright, the power rack version
49 by 49.
49 by 49.
So I tell people, if you put a power rack in your house, you're going to need 10 feet wide. Doesn't matter if it's mine or anybody's. The bar is 7 feet. So 7 feet. And if you can squeeze your little body into an 18-inch space to put the weights on like between the wall. So like you're going to have at least 10 feet.
Let's say you have the 6 post on there. You have a 6 post setup. What's your floor space that you're going to be taking up front to back?
Yeah. So you've got 49 deep, and then you're going to add another 24 inches on top of that. Okay. So instead of being like 74 inches, you're going to be 73 inches deep. But like if you put the plate holders on the back, so if you have an 18-inch wide bumper plate, then obviously the 3x3 upright, you're going to subtract 18 divided by 2 is 9 minus 1.5 inches, right? So you're going to need 7.5 inches on top of that. So you're going to be looking at like maybe 88 inches. Okay. 85 inches like total if we bumpers like this close to the wall when you put on your power rack, you know what I mean? So it just depends on what kind of size weights you're doing, calibrated, regular. If you're using
so about 10 feet again.
No, 72, 6 feet, right? So you're 7 feet deep would be plenty. 7 by 10, because the rack's only 4 foot 1 inch deep, and you're adding 2 more feet. So you're at 6 feet 1 inch, let's say, plus another 9 inches for your bumper plates. So now you're at 7 feet, right? So if
you know what? I got you. I understand now, because no. I'm thinking about not just the 6 post, but I'm also thinking about if you had that lat combo on there, and then you have the width of the plate too. I'm thinking about that.
So now if you got 6 posts and a lat pulled on, a 10 by 10 square would be fine. I think that people take power racks and they always shove them against the wall.
Right.
I hate that. If you take your 6 post rack and you stick it in the middle of the gym, and you put like 2 pairs of spotter arms on it and 2 J cups, now you've got his and hers bench press, his and her squat, or swing arms over here, and somebody doing this, and now you got a dip attachment here, and this side's got a landmine. Now your 6 post rack is 4 racks. Now you've got like 4 or 5 stations. Now it becomes the center point. Because I don't do CrossFit, maybe that's why I think like this. And so like I don't think like I need to have a rack against the wall in a giant amount of space so I can do lunges.
Right. That's the big thing, is like having the space, but it also it's going to interfere with my garage door if it's all the way open. Well, in my garage. If
you can fit a car in, right? An average car is like 23 feet long. You could put the rack at the back, still have 4 feet off the back before you get to the end of your garage wall. So you could do squats, bench press, and then all that extra feeder room out of the front where the door would come up. Because there's nothing, when you build a power rack, there's nothing that says you have to build it like my picture. Like you don't have to put the cross members at the top and the nameplate at the top and the pull-up bar. Like some people put them in, I've seen them in basements, they put them in between the studs. Or the joists, right? And then everything else, they drop like 6 inches down. So now it's like a mini version of a power rack, but they have in between the joists, they have the upright so that they don't have to worry about that. Yeah. Because ours are perfectly square. So you don't have to even build ours with the pull-up bar in the front and the nameplate in the back and the cross members. I've seen guys like put cross member here, nameplate, pull-up bar on the side, run the other pull-up bar over here, or take the pull-up bars and put them on the ends and run the safeties down. Like it's like a Lincoln Logs or Legos for adults. You can build it however you want because it's a perfect square. So all of our attachments then become perfect squares. All of our flip down safeties, all of our other stuff has to be that perfect square. So you can mount anything on our rack in any directions. The same reason we do the 2-inch holes on all 4 sides of everything. So they're modular. So then you can attach your attachments anywhere you want. You don't
any direction you want. That was actually one of my questions, because that whole Westside spacing thing is great. But my problem with that is a lot of times the hole spacing is smaller, and I've got all of these attachments, custom attachments that I've had made over the years. I mean, I've had a home gym since 2001. So I've had custom attachments made, and some of them I'm not really trying to get rid of. I want to hang on to it. And so that's always my problem with Westside spacing. Well, I'm going to have to switch to a smaller hole spacing. What do I do with this thing now? You know what I mean?
I
Yeah.
just love the Westside spacing because I've dropped 405 pounds on myself before bench pressing.
Okay.
And those safeties, that 1 inch difference, definitely saved my chest from being crushed to death. And I've been like, ever since. I mean, it doesn't really matter, I think, on squats, but bench press, it's definitely like that 1 inch depth into your chest is a big deal.
You just answered one of my questions I was going to ask you, so we'll just skip right on past that, because I was going to ask you if your stuff is interchangeable, and it is. You said it's all modular. You can set it up any configuration you want.
Yeah, you can also use Rogue and Rep PR 4000 stuff, Rogue Monster Light stuff on our racks.
Okay.
Now, there's a chance that the bottom holes, like if you have a double pin thing, don't line up, but honestly, the double pin thing, you don't ever need the double pins. But
So
obviously, our stuff you can have. We have double pin stuff, but if you have some specialty thing and you're like, I need a 3x3 inch rack with 5/8 holes, like it's gonna fit. Because we sell a lot of our accessories, we sell to people that already have Rogue and Rep and bells and steel racks because they fit. Our stuff fits on their stuff. Because everybody's like, well, I know your stuff's not made here, right? It's made overseas and you import it. I'm like, yeah, but I design it. And they're like, well, you can't possibly have a 3x3 upright because it comes from, China or overseas, depending on where we're at. Well, some stuff we have made in Texas, but you get it. And so I had a guy tell me the other day.
Is it made in your sweatshop in Crandall, Texas?
Yeah, exactly. Well, they must pay their weekly dues. So I took the calipers out and I measured it. It's so ours are 2.99 by 2.99 inches.
Well, they're on the metric system.
It must be 75 millimeters is what everybody asked me. And ours aren't. Ours are, they're 76 point something 9 or whatever it is. Almost 77 millimeters, which I guess is like 3 inches.
Okay.
So I was switching it back and forth with the calipers so the guy could see. So that's the stuff we do. It's like 8 o'clock at night. The guy sends me an email. He's like, are those true 3x3 uprights? So I walk in my gym, get my little calipers out, get him on take a picture, send it to him right then. He's like, oh, thanks for responding right now. I thought you'd be doing something else.
I'm he was just like flaming you like, yeah, whatever. Anyway, I'm not even gonna talk about that.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I'll respond to like people are always surprised, like if I'll call them. A lot of times I'll call people and be like, hey, do you have like the bench got damaged in shipping? Like, hey, I'm gonna send you out the new pad. And then they always get like, oh no, it's not a big deal. It's because I'm like, no, dude. Like customer service is our thing. So like I'm gonna send you a pad. And they're like, I've never had the owner of a company call me on his personal phone and tell me that they were gonna fix it. Like within 5 minutes of my email. I'm like, no, that's what we do. He's like, I've had that happen like over and over and over and over again. But that's just the way, because that's the kind of customer service I like. So that's what we do. So if you message me on Instagram or email or whatever, no matter what I'm doing, you're probably gonna get a reply like very soon, unless I'm really actually busy doing something. Yeah.
What are you most proud of as a business owner? Is it the customer service?
I would say that combined with the quality. Like I said, like if you just look at our Google reviews, I think we have one bad review. I think it's a 2 or a 3 star.
Okay.
And it's from a guy who went to our store in El Paso and complained that he missed the entrance to the thing and he had to go around the store and had to go around the block. And then he didn't like it that we had all of our equipment out, like we had it shown, and then we had the boxes behind where, because you can just walk in, I want that, and walk out with it. He didn't like that they were in cardboard boxes. Sorry, and quality. So then just make everything commercial quality, then you'll never have a complaint about your quality, which we don't. We never get complaints about our quality.
So how do you do quality control when somebody else is making it in another country? Because I understand the logistics of it. Even if you flew over there and they say, oh yeah, this run of steel is perfect. Okay, great. You approve it. Then you pay for run number 2 or number 3. And now they're like, yeah, he ain't coming back. And so they reduce the quality. How do you kind of hold their feet to the fire on a consistent basis so they don't ship you crap that you're going to end up having to take back anyway?
That is a great question, because that has happened. I have found, by the grace of God or whatever, I have a contact over there that lives there, and they make sure everything I get is awesome. And if it's not, we ordered a thing of dumbbells once and it was not up to my standard. And they were like, actually it's her name's Annie.
I got you.
And she goes, we're not accepting these. And she refused them. We didn't pay for them. We got them to another factory. And that's the way they do business over there. Like, we're not taking it. I'd have to pay a deposit. They took she handled getting the deposit back from the company we used. We went to another company, got the ones we wanted and the quality one, and then I got them. So everything I order goes through her. She is my gatekeeper.
Ooh, that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you got to pay somebody to go over there every time. Oh my God, that's cool. Now, you said something about customer service earlier, and I want to come back. You have good reviews for the most part. Have you ever gotten a bad review because the names of all your products are so freaking long? Okay.
Ever. You're the only one who brought
Hang on, let me go write something.
I'm telling you, you gotta write. You have to, like, people are like, I want to know exactly what it is. So like when I pull it out, it's like green camo, whatever. Because like, dude, whenever I was buying, like, so when we first started the website, I'd put like camo, green camo bar or whatever I'd put, right? And then the description you put, it's 28.5 millimeters, it's Cerakoted, it's this kind of milling, blah, 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 right? I'm not sure if people read the descriptions because I get so many emails. It was like, is that 28.5? Is it Cerakoted? What is it? And so now that's why our title's like that. So now I never get those questions anymore.
So I'm going to read this because this is ridiculous, right? Because I was trying to do the review of y'all's bar. Well, I'm trying to find this woman's bar here. And I'm trying to remember the names of the woman's bar as I'm going,
15
right?
like women's 15 kilograms.
No. That's you saying it, right? So I'm there. And so if anybody wants to laugh, just look at my face as I'm trying to do the review. So the review link just popped up over my head. Go watch it and see me trying to explain what kind of bar this is. And I'm not sure I said the same name at the beginning that I said at the end. So I said, it's the Crandall Fitness Olympic Women's 15 kilogram pink Campbell Cerakote bearing bar, 25 millimeters. Okay.
That's the other thing too.
Then I stopped arrested. Then I finished talking. Oh my gosh, Shaun, come on, man. What are you doing to me?
You gotta drink the water. Gotta get a drink of water.
I just stop and rest. Halfway through the name of your bar.
You have to say bearing too, because the problem is nobody knows people didn't know who we were. So I put bearing, that way they're like, why am I paying $279 for a bar from Crandall Fitness? I'm like, because it's Cerakote, it's a bearing bar. And if you go to Rogue and buy it, it's $450.
All right. Everybody watching this, look at my face because this is the explanation that he gave me before, right? And this is what I said when I read his text message back.
You're right.
Because I was like, man, call that thing the Valkyrie and go home, okay? Good God. Whoever says, man, I really want to buy my wife the Crandall Fitness Olympic Women's 15 kilogram pink camo Cerakote bearing bar 25 millimeter for Christmas.
The problem is we have like 50 variations of bars.
Oh my God.
Because I'm so OCD, I'm like, everyone wants to have a black sleeve and a chrome sleeve version. And I'm like, but then if you're like a Seahawks fan, you want lime green. But if you're a Cowboys fan, you want navy blue. And if you're, or whatever.
Well, number one, we don't listen to Cowboys fans. So
neither do we. But you know what I mean? Like everybody, so we have 8 colors of bars times camo, then 8 colors of bars that are solid or whatever. Then we have this and that's like, and then you double that because you've got a black and a. So we just have so many variations that I have to be super.
Let's talk about your dumbbells for a little bit. Why'd you choose to go with rubber coated hex instead of just bare steel or bare iron?
I love the rubber coat hex because I can throw them across the floor and on concrete and then nothing happens to them. And we also use pinned heads, like we have handles, right? And the head goes in and they form the iron around them. Well, ours have pinned heads, so they form the iron around the pin. So you can drop those suckers all day and you're not going to break them. Okay, as opposed to some companies have glued heads.
Right.
So like, don't drop your dumbbells because the damn dumbbell will fall apart. But I'll take like a 45 or 50 and we'll just throw it across the warehouse floor. You know
so let's get down to brass tacks, Shaun. I believe in concrete examples. Let's say, this is hypothetical, an extremely handsome bald guy that lives in Atlanta purchased a rack and a low row with plates, and then said, and the 6 posts, and says, yeah, but what I want with weight storage, so I'll pay for it, you ship it to me, but I want you to come put it together and I'm going to video you doing it. And I don't want you to work for free. I'm going to pay you, but my wife's going to give you Puerto Rican food. I mean, wait, not my wife, this hypothetical person's wife.
Right, yeah.
Who happens to have a Puerto Rican wife as well. Remarkable similarity.
Right, which would be different than my Mexican wife.
Yeah. So, and all that just happens on, right?
We'd be down for that.
I'm sure you would. So, but what would be, I mean, like realistically for like an actual person who says, okay, I'm going to look on your website. I'm looking at the home gym install. What's the first step? They say, obviously you got to know where they live and what they want. What's like, walk me through the process of how that goes as we close up.
So what they do is they would email us what they want. and then where they're at and what they want, if they want to install or whatever, then I give them a shipping quote and then how much I would charge to install it.
Yeah.
And then we could I could help them. I actually added some links on our website. Now we don't have very many because my reach isn't, I haven't done a whole lot of research on it because I've been busy, but I've been trying to find guys who just do that in each state.
Yeah.
So that way, if you're like in Atlanta and then you call me, I can be like, hey, check this guy out. He's out of Atlanta and he does gym installs. Then I can push you on to him. And that way, if something happens and you have a guy there or whatever, as opposed to like trying to pay, because by the time I fly out there and stuff, it's going to be expensive. Right?
I got you. Yeah.
As opposed to a guy who's like probably knocking them out all the time, who can just show up and like knock it out.
Yeah.
He already has the tools and everything.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, man, yeah. I really appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me. I really think the world of your products. All joking aside, my wife loves that bar. She continues playing with it. She's been using it. She lifts 4 days a week. So I'd say 3 out of the 4 days that she lifts, she uses the bar for something. And so she's really very pleased with it. If anybody, like I said, if anybody wants to check that out, I'll have the link at the end of this video for people to be able to watch the review that we did of the bar. And I love what you're doing for the home gym community.
Thanks.
And I want more people to be able to discover you. So you're going to close, tell everybody how they can reach you, how they can order stuff. Just look around at what you guys have. Plug your YouTube channel, your Instagram. If you have OnlyFans, have at it.
Right? Just me working out in boxers.
Shirtless, of course. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, so it's Crandall Fitness on everything. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok. Not OnlyFans, unfortunately. Just, but if you, anything Crandall Fitness, if you go to whatever page, we do a lot of on our YouTube channel. We do a lot of like break videos. Same thing with Instagram is a good place to see all the newest stuff we come out with. Because Facebook's kind of lagging nowadays. So, and I tried the TikTok thing a little bit, but it's I don't know, it's kind of weird. So Instagram, all of our new product stuff. YouTube, if you want the more in-depth videos, I go into a lot of in-depth, like this is why we use this pulley and this is why we use this cable. Or this is why this is this way. Like we do on each piece, we'll have an in-depth on our bars and stuff. And I'll explain to you why I use certain needle bearings and why I use certain knurling on this bar versus this bar and why this bar is this wide and this bar is this wide. All that really in-depth nerdy stuff if you really want to get into the weeds.